Chapter 4, Your Sovereignty Journey starts now. Introduction, you've built the foundation. Congratulations. By completing first 3 parts of my free AI course, you've done something most people never attempt. You've taken control of your AI instead of accepting cloud dependency as inevitable. In chapters 1 through 3, we covered why cloud AI threatens your privacy, legal security, and spiritual integrity, how local AI works, and why control matters more than convenience, how to set up a sovereign Linux system with LM Studio running locally. Now you have working software on hardware you control. But here's what most guides don't tell you. Setting it up is only the beginning. The real work starts now, building habits, creating workflows, and integrating this tool into your life in ways that serve your values, not someone else's profit margins. This final chapter of Basic Course covers your first week plan, common concerns addressed honestly, what comes next if you want deeper work, and the invitation to join a movement of people choosing sovereignty over convenience. Let's begin. Section 4.1, Your First Week Plan, Building AI Sovereignty Gradually. Why gradual is better than everything at once. Here's what I see most new users do wrong. They spend hours setting up their system on day 1, then try to use it for everything immediately, get overwhelmed by the learning curve, fall back into old cloud AI habits within a week, and never return to local AI because it was too much work, or it just doesn't work as they was thinking. This is why most people fail at personal sovereignty, not only in digital space, but in physical life too. Not because the technology is hard, but because they try to change everything overnight instead of building sustainable habits one by one. The better approach: start small, build consistency, expand gradually. The 7-day Sovereignty Foundation Plan. Here's what I recommend for your first week after completing setup. Day 1 was complete initial setup, which you've done already. This established foundation with LM Studio working and first model downloaded and tested. Day 2 is to have several conversations and explore capabilities. Purpose is building familiarity with AI's strengths and weaknesses. Success looks like understanding what it can do well versus where it struggles. Day 3 is testing specific use cases relevant to your life. Purpose is connecting AI to your actual needs, not abstract concepts. Success means finding at least one practical way you'll use this regularly. Day 4 explores alternative models. Purpose is learning which model style suits your preferences best. Success is downloading and testing one different model for comparison. Day 5 reflects on differences from cloud AI experiences. Purpose is solidifying understanding of sovereignty benefits. Success means having clear answer to why does this matter more than I thought. Day 6 decides if you're ready for deeper work with long-term memory or continue LM Studio only. Purpose is making conscious choice based on your comfort level. Success is honest decision without pressure from marketing or FOMO. Day 7 either begins implementing agentic workflow if ready, or celebrates success and practices more if not. Time varies. Progress at your pace with no shame either way. Success means building sustainable habit, not rushing toward completion. Daily practice guidelines keep this simple. The key principle: consistency over intensity. 30 minutes daily is better than 3 hours once per week. Day 2, explore capabilities without pressure. What to do: ask open-ended questions like tell me about X topic that interests you. Test reasoning by giving it a complex problem and watch how it approaches solutions. Look an open reasoning stream of model, not just passively wait for answer. Try creative tasks like help me write a poem, story, or email about. Test knowledge boundaries by asking about recent events or specialized topics. What not to do yet: don't expect perfection. Local AI makes mistakes like any tool. Don't compare to cloud AI speed. Acceptance takes practice. Don't judge yourself for struggling. You're learning a new skill. Goal for day 2, build comfort with the interface and understand what feels different about sovereign AI. Which model you like to work with and which is getting on your nerves only. Here, size matter. 122B will give you completely different user experience than 4B model. But can you be happy with 35B only? Yes, it depends on your use cases. You must test it yourself by practice. Day 3, connect to your actual life. This is critical. What to do? Think about one thing in your life that would benefit from private AI assistance, like writing help for emails or documents you don't want cloud-based. research on topics too sensitive for public search engines, personal journaling insights you want stored privately, or learning support for subjects you're studying. Ask your AI to help with that specific thing today. Example prompts by life area. For work and professional life, help me draft a professional email about topic, make it concise but clear. Review this document and suggest improvements without changing my voice. For personal growth, I'm thinking about life decision. Help me explore different perspectives. Summarize what I've learned about topic from these notes I pasted. For creative projects, I'm writing story, document, or script. Here's where I am, what are strong sides of my story, and what weak ones. Review this creative piece and suggest improvements that keep my style intact. Goal for day 3, find at least one practical application that makes sense for your actual life, not hypothetical use cases. Day 4, model exploration. What to do if you downloaded a small model first, like 8B or smaller. Try a larger one if your hardware supports it. Compare differences in response quality and nuance, speed versus intelligence trade-offs, and how well each handles complex reasoning. Don't stay with only one brand name like my favorite QN, but try some new one. Experiment open source LLMs download doesn't need your MasterCard. How to test fairly, use the same question with both models. Note differences in response depth, accuracy, creativity. Decide which feels better for your use case. There's no single best model. Example comparison questions. Explain complex concept in simple terms, tests clarity. What are the main arguments for and against X? Tests balance. Help me solve this problem step by step. Tests reasoning. Goal for day 4. Understand that different models serve different purposes. You don't need one perfect model. You need the right model for each task. One perfect model doesn't exist. Day 5. Reflection and integration. Most important day. What to do? Set aside 15 minutes with no distractions. Ask yourself these questions honestly. 1. What surprised me most about having local AI? Speed differences from expectations. Privacy feeling different than I imagined. Something else entirely that nobody mentioned in guides. 2. How does this compare to cloud AI experiences? Is it noticeably slower? Usually yes, but acceptable. Does the quality feel adequate for my needs? Usually yes after tuning. Do I feel more comfortable sharing certain topics here? Critical insight. 3. What's one thing I want this AI to help me with regularly? Write it down explicitly. I will use local AI for specific purpose. This becomes your anchor reason why you started this journey. 4. What concerns do I still have? Be honest with yourself, no judgment. Note them down. We'll address common ones below. 5. Am I ready to continue deeper with long-term memory, or should I practice more? If day 3 through 5 felt natural and useful, continue toward full implementation. If it still feels awkward or overwhelming, stay with LM Studio only for now. Goal for day 5, honest self-assessment without pressure. Your answers determine what makes sense next. There's no right answer, only your answer based on your experience. Day 6, the decision point. What to do? Review your reflections from days 2 through 5. Ask yourself honestly, do I want more capability, or am I happy with what I have? 2 valid paths forward. Path O is: continue deepening your skills if you feel confident and see clear value in local AI. Want persistent memory that remembers you over time. Ready for full agentic system with long-term memory setup and comfortable maintaining hardware separation from personal data. Path B is: stay at LM Studio level if you're happy with current capabilities. Don't need persistent memory or agent features yet. Prefer simpler setup without complex partitioning, and want to practice more before committing deeper. Neither path is wrong. Both serve sovereignty. Choose based on your needs, not marketing pressure or FOMO. Goal for day 6, make a conscious decision about next steps. Your journey, your pace, no pressure. Day 7, celebrate and plan forward. What to do, regardless of which path you chose, Path O or Path B, celebrate completing week 1. If you chose Path A, begin long-term memory setup with excitement, not pressure. Remember, mistakes are normal and fixable. Progress over perfection always. If you chose Path B with LM Studio only, acknowledge that this is still valid sovereignty work. Continue practicing and expanding use cases gradually. You can upgrade to deeper work anytime later, no expiration date. Goal for day 7. End the week with genuine appreciation for taking action. Sovereignty isn't about perfection, it's about conscious choice and consistent practice over time. Remember, this is a lifelong journey. Week 1 is just the beginning. Section 4.2, Common Concerns Addressed Honestly. Concern 1. What if I break something? The honest answer, you probably won't break anything, and if you do, it's fixable. Here's what actually happens in the worst case. LM Studio crashes. Restart it, nothing lost except current conversation. Model won't load. Download smaller quantization or different model entirely, which is free. Linux feels weird. Live environment lets you test before committing to installation. Installed Linux and hate it. Reinstall Windows from USB backup, no permanent damage. The reality, unlike cloud services where they control everything and can change terms anytime, local AI puts you in control. Mistakes are your mistakes, which means they are also fixable by you. Bottom line, the fear of breaking something is worse than the actual risk. Local AI is more forgiving than cloud dependency because nothing external can suddenly change on you without your knowledge. Concern 2, isn't this too technical for me? The honest answer, you're more capable than you think, but it's okay if some parts feel challenging. Here's the truth about technical complexity. Most people overestimate difficulty before trying, which you've probably felt. Installation becomes easier after doing it once. Learning curve is real but manageable. You don't need to understand everything to use something. Drive a car without being an engineer. If certain parts feel overwhelming, ask for help through community forums, email support included in my channel. Watch video tutorials on YouTube, which visual learners benefit greatly from. Take breaks and come back when refreshed because rushing causes mistakes. Consider consultation support if setup feels too difficult alone. And primally, ask your AI in LM Studio. 24/7 available technical support just for you. Bottom line, if you can install an app on your phone, you can set up local AI. The barrier is perception, not actual complexity. Trust yourself more than doubt does. Concern 3, what if I need cloud access from multiple devices? The honest answer, this is a valid concern, and there are solutions, but they require conscious trade-offs. Here are your options for multi-device access. Single device only gives maximum safety with simple complexity. Start here if possible. Encrypted sync to multiple devices gives good privacy if done correctly, with moderate complexity. Use Vera Crypt Plus encrypted external drives. Self-hosted private cloud gives high privacy because you control everything, but has complex setup. Only for advanced users comfortable with server administration. Traditional cloud services give low privacy because big tech still sees your data with simple setup. This defeats sovereignty purpose. My recommendation, start with single device setup. Once you understand how local AI serves your needs, then consider multi-device solutions if truly necessary. Many people discover they don't actually need cloud access after experiencing true local AI assistance. Convenience just wasn't worth the trade-off. If multi-device is essential, use encrypted external SSD shared between computers, not internet sync. Consider self-hosted Nextcloud instance on your own hardware. Accept that some compromise may be necessary for practical workflow needs. Bottom line, multi-device access requires compromises with safety. Decide upfront how much privacy you're willing to trade for convenience. Concern 4, what if something breaks and I can't fix it? The honest answer, you'll get stuck sometimes. And things time to time breaks. That's normal. Support exists. Always first try use your own AI for help, because you can copy-paste exact issue error, broken code, etc. Your AI can explain you where is problem and help you understand root cause. Here's the reality about technical problems. Every new technology has a learning curve. Local AI is no exception. Problems will arise that weren't covered in guides. This doesn't mean you failed. Asking for help is strength, not weakness. Even experts need assistance sometimes. Support options available to you. Community forums like Linux Mint forums, r/local LMA on Reddit, privacy-focused Matrix channels. Email support. If you have some special needs. Professional setup, project, you can ask me for personal paid consultation on my direct email. I maybe use AI voice for this guide, but but I assure you that I am human. All I use for this guide is locally deployable, and I don't use anything with paid subscriptions or cloud-based. In this new highly digitalized world, you need skill and knowledge, not pay endlessly to big tech overlords to fix your issues. Maybe they will make your life easier, but they will not tell real costs you need to pay later. The mindset shift. Instead of thinking, I can't break anything, think, when I encounter problems, I have resources to solve them. This is more honest and empowering. Bottom line, getting stuck is part of the journey. Support exists. You're not alone. Thousands of people are walking this new path alongside you. Workspace is rapidly changing, and people who will not adapt will be left without no options. Don't think that big tech overlords will slow down or take care of you in good faith. They will maybe take care of you, but not in a way you will enjoy. Concern 5. I'm not ready for full sovereignty yet, the honest truth. The honest answer. That's okay. Start with LM Studio only. Build up when you feel ready. Here's what I want you to understand about sovereignty. It's a spectrum, not a binary choice. You can be more sovereign without being completely sovereign. Progress matters more than perfection. Every step towards self-control is meaningful. You can always deepen your commitment later. No expiration date on upgrading. The LM Studio-only path is valid. Your conversations stay private because nothing leaves your computer. You avoid cloud tracking and surveillance. You still benefit from locally stored data over cloud data storage. LM Studio only on Windows is a perfectly reasonable starting point for many people. Nobody expects you will become AI professional orchestrator overnight. When to consider deeper AI setup integration, when you feel comfortable with current setup, when you recognize the value of persistent memory systems, when you're ready to maintain hardware separation boundaries, and when you have time or resources for full agentic configuration. Bottom line, start small. LM Studio only is still sovereignty work, just at a different depth level. Upgrade when you're ready, not because marketing pressure tells you to rush. Section 4.3, What's next? Why this free guide exists. Before I describe what comes next, let me be clear about something important. This free guide exists for one reason: to show you that sovereign AI is possible and accessible to regular people, not just technical experts or wealthy enthusiasts. I could have made this entire course paid only and maximized short-term revenue. But I chose differently because privacy sovereignty shouldn't be gated behind paywalls. People need to understand why before they're willing to invest real money. Building trust through genuine value creates better outcomes than sales pressure. And if you benefit from free content, you'll know if premium deep work makes sense for you. This approach aligns with my philosophy. Technology should primarily serve people, not extracting money from them no matter what. Humans without honor and compassion are just easy digestible food for big tech overlords. Section 4.4, The Invitation Joining the Movement. You're not alone in this. Here's something most people don't realize until they make the switch. There are thousands, maybe millions, of others who have chosen local AI sovereignty over cloud dependency. They are in privacy-focused forums and matrix channels, subreddits like r/localLMA with tens of thousands of members, Discord servers dedicated to personal safe technology, offline meetups in major cities around the world, and some at this course right now, digesting the same ideas as you. The community is growing because people are waking up. They're realizing that cloud AI isn't just convenient, it's a fundamental surrender of control over their inner lives. And they're choosing differently. What joining means and doesn't mean. When I invite you to join this movement, here's what I mean. What it is: making conscious choices about technology based on your values, supporting others who want sovereignty instead of cloud dependency, sharing knowledge and resources within privacy-respecting communities, building sustainable habits that serve long-term freedom over short-term convenience. What it is not: joining a cult or rigid ideology because there's room for different paths. Spending more money than you can afford because sovereignty works at any budget level. Isolating yourself from friends and family because you can help them transition when ready. Perfect execution from day one because progress over perfection always. The bigger picture, why this matters beyond you. Here's something else I want you to understand about what you're doing by choosing local AI setup. Every person who chooses personal sovereignty creates ripple effects. When you refuse cloud tracking for private conversations, this normalizes privacy as default. When you build safe local systems, this demonstrates alternatives are possible and accessible. When you help others transition, this multiplies the impact exponentially. When you create content about this journey, this reaches people who couldn't find guides otherwise. You're not just protecting your inner life, you're helping build a world where sovereignty is normal, expected, and accessible to everyone. This matters because governments are increasing surveillance capabilities every year. Corporate data collection becomes more aggressive as profit margins shrink. Future laws could make today's harmless conversations tomorrow's court evidence, and spiritual practitioners deserve privacy for their inner work. Your choice matters, not just for you personally, but for the ecosystem of technology and freedom we're building together. Not everything is and should be about how much money I can squeeze out of this project, this human, this course, this technology. Make some decent buck for living is completely okay, but I personally don't want to live in a world where money is only metric and only end goal. The questions you need to ask yourself now. Before closing this guide, take a moment to reflect on these honest questions. No need to write answers, just think through them. Question 1. Am I ready to continue deepening my digital sovereignty, but still needs guidance? If the answer is yes, my Future Premium AI course gives you complete path forward with full implementation. If the answer is not yet, that's okay. Stay with LM Studio, practice more on your own, return when ready if you need it. You can definitively do it on your own, but it will cost you a lot of time and many mistakes on the way. AI world is changing every week, and pace is not slowing down at all. Question 2. What specific thing do I want local AI to help me with? Write it down explicitly. I will use sovereign AI for blank. This becomes your anchor reason, why you started this journey, and why you'll continue despite challenges. Examples include private writing support, research on sensitive topics, spiritual journaling, creative work without surveillance. If you plan to invest money on buying AI hardware or gaining more knowledge with my Future Premium course, have some real AI work you will justify this expenses. Question 3. What concerns do I still have that need addressing? Be honest with yourself without judgment. Note them down, they're valid concerns that deserve answers. Question 4. Who else might benefit from this information? Friends who worry about cloud tracking but don't know alternatives exist. Family members concerned about privacy but overwhelmed by technical complexity. Colleagues working with sensitive data that shouldn't leave their control. Students researching digital rights and sovereignty topics. Or just worker who is becoming professionally obsolete because AI rapidly taking all jobs left and right at lightning speed. Your answers determine your next steps. There's no correct answer, only your honest assessment based on where you are right now. You don't need my additional paid expertise, but you can definitively profit from it. If you're just starting now, you are in huge disadvantage compared to people who invest months or even years building their own AI systems. They have edge and confidence in their knowledge you simply lack. The final invitation. If this guide has resonated with you, if something about the sovereignty message speaks to a deeper need in your life, continue the journey. Not because I'm selling you something. Not because everyone else is doing it. They're not. Most people still use cloud AI by default. And they will, no matter what. Continue this journey because you've seen what's possible when you take control back. You've experienced conversations that never leave your computer, an AI system that belongs to you, not a corporation, and the feeling of control over your own inner life. That experience changes something inside you. And once you taste true freedom, even in this limited technical form, it's hard to go back to dependency. So my final invitation is simple. Keep going. Deepen your practice. Help others when they are ready. Build the future you want to live in. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consciously, consistently, and with integrity to your values over someone else's profit margins. Chapter summary: what you've accomplished. By completing this entire course, chapters 1 through 4, you now have understanding of why cloud AI threatens sovereignty, including legal exposure, spiritual fragmentation, loss of personal control. Knowledge of how local AI works, including neutral tools, hardware requirements, practical use cases. A working safety-first system with Linux Mint installed on Clean Drive and LM Studio running locally. First week implementation plan with 7-day roadmap for building sustainable sovereignty habits. Honest answers to common concerns, no sugarcoating the challenges and how to work through them. Clear view of next steps, including possibility of joining my future premium course, Deep Dive, or just simply continued practice at your own pace alone. You've moved from theory to understanding, implementation, and finally sustainable practice. This is a journey to full agentic local AI assistant that most people never safely achieve because regular basic guides either focus on setup without long-term integration or just philosophy without practical how-to. This guide exists to bridge both gaps so you can build lasting sovereignty, not just temporary curiosity. Final reflection, what will you do next? Before we close this guide, here's your final reflection exercise. Take 5 to 10 minutes for honest self-assessment. 1. What was the most important thing I learned from this course? Was it understanding the legal risks of cloud data? The spiritual cost of outsourcing inner life? That sovereignty is more accessible than I thought. Something else entirely that resonated deeply. 2. How does my system feel different than I expected? Faster or slower than anticipated? More capable or less powerful than I imagined? Privacy feeling more meaningful than before? Something unexpected about the experience? 3. Which path makes sense for me right now? Continue deepening sovereignty on my own, or I want more details, how to complete full agentic implementation guide. Staying at LM Studio level for now. Practicing with current setup more deeper. Help others transition to local AI. Share this free guide. Build community support. 4. What's one concrete action I'll take in the next 7 days? 5. What would I tell myself before starting this journey if I could go back in time? Trust yourself more than your doubts. Start small, build consistency over intensity. It's okay to get stuck, support exists. This is a lifelong practice, not a destination. Your answers matter. They tell me what worked in this guide and what could be improved. And they tell you where your growth edges are, what to focus on next in your sovereignty journey. Final words, this is just the beginning. If you've made it this far, I want you to know something important. You're now part of a growing movement of people who refuse to accept cloud dependency as inevitable. Most people will never see this guide. They'll always use cloud AI by default without questioning what they're giving up. Their privacy, legal security, spiritual integrity. And that's their choice, not mine. But you made it here. You took action. You set up technology on hardware you control with data that belongs to you. That matters more than most people realize until something goes wrong with cloud services. This is just the beginning. The real work starts now, building habits that serve your values over someone else's, creating workflows that integrate AI into your life authentically and safely, helping others when they're ready to transition too. Thank you for trusting this guide enough to follow it through. Thank you for choosing sovereignty over convenience. And thank you for being part of building the better future we need, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who comes after us. Your personal journey continues from here. Keep going. Stay curious. Build with integrity. And remember, you're never alone on this path. Thousands walk alongside you in their private journeys. If you see value in my work, consider continuing on a more professional level. If you don't need anything more, I wish you my best.